reason I wrote that book was because it seemed so counterintuitive. And then why are we afraid of pleasure? You know, and we had just been talking about it because it's, if you've experienced pleasure or love, which is what we all start with, and then you've experienced loss. There's a line in Birth of Pleasure, which I like, which is, you know, pleasure is act one in a play that ends badly. And if you've gone through the play and you know that it ends badly, and suddenly you're experiencing pleasure or you're feeling love or you're opening yourself, you know, to joy in that way, and you think, oh my God, I know how this ends. So then you start. It's easier to tell the story of loss because that story, you live on the far side of it. And you know all the moves of what you can do, you know, afterward. But to go back before that happens and to risk that this time maybe it's not going to end badly, is taking a huge risk. So I was interested, why, individually, why as a culture are we so wedded to these stories about loss, to tragic love stories? You know, because I was just reading this really wonderful biography of Frida von Reichmann, you know, the psychoanalyst who worked at Chestnut Lodge, who was the analyst for Joanne Greenberg, who wrote I Never Promised You a Rose Garden. And when she demonstrated that by establishing the relationship she did with Joanne, she was able to, they were able together for Joanne to move from this incredibly destructive psychosis into, you know, coming back into leading a life that involved, you know, love and children and writing and all this kind of thing. And then everyone attacked Frida von Reichmann and Joanne Greenberg because if she demonstrated it could be done, then it meant that actually people could do that, whereas it was easier to say, well, she couldn't have been psychotic because if she was psychotic, it wouldn't have worked. So I think that's also true, is if love ends badly and tragically, and it always does, then I don't have to really question, you know, what I'm doing. I mean, and say, well, maybe it doesn't have to end this way. So it really felt to me like a very revolutionary book to write.